Can you believe we sent a computer programmer out here to open for a bunch of professional speakers? But welcome to Scottsdale. It truly is our pleasure to have you here in town for the next few days. I think the greatest thing that Bill did for TTI, this conference and the TTI network, is make it feel like one big family. So if you're new to TTI, can I have you just please stand up? Let's give them a nice welcome. So over the next few days, let's be sure to welcome them to our family. You know, we are family. So what I would like to do is just go a little bit through the past, the present, and the future of TTI through my eyes. You know, there's no crying in openings, and no tears in heaven, right? But just in case, come prepared. In 1984, Bonnstetter & Associates joined with John Hall and formed TTI, Target Training International. And I remember John and Bill reading a person's disc graphs, dictating into a report, and then we would have someone type it up. Now, I had been programming some smaller projects for them, and they came to me one day and they said, "Hey, do you think we can computerize these reports?" And I said, "Yes." And so we began to discuss the possibilities, and in 1985, we released the first management version. And now we were able to even do more reports for our clients. Then after that, we came across this copy protection system we could put on floppy disks, if you guys remember what floppy disks are, right? What that allowed us to do was to lock it up, and now we could sell it to our clients, and then we actually started selling it wholesale to other trainers and consultants. And that guaranteed repeat sales for all of us. And we still have many of those original VAAs still buying from us from 1985. I think the most important thing about TTI was that we were building reports that help people understand themselves and others. And if we did that right, we could help you transform lives. I think the best strategy we came up with was to sell it wholesale, to set it at a price that allowed you guys to mark it up 5 to 10 times. That allowed you to make a decent living. And I think we created a great business model for all of us. And actually, from the results of the survey that you guys took, you guys are not only marking it up 10 times, you're marking it up 14 times. So I think we did come up with something pretty good. I also remember in the early days when revenue was low, working hard for my dad so that I could make him more money the next year. I used to tell him a number I would get him to. Not that I had that much control, right? But I think it helped set a vision. And I also figured that if I got him there, I would follow. And I think it's worked out pretty good. And yet, to this day, I've never made a resume, and I do have all of you to thank for that. How about a little bit of how we got to Scottsdale? You probably heard Bill's story, but I want to give you a little bit of the backstory. So when TTI was first formed, it was in Ames, Iowa. Bill would go between Mason City, Iowa, and Ames. I was attending University of Iowa, so I go between Iowa City and Ames. And after college, I still wanted to work for the company, and I did a little bit there in the office, but I figured, hey, I can program anywhere. And that anywhere happened to be San Diego. So I moved out there. My mom lived there, so I've been there many a times. But after about 6 months, it just wasn't the same as working in the actual office. So I moved back to Iowa from San Diego in the winter, and it was cloud covered for the next 3 months. And I'm like, why do we live here, right? Now, add to that picture that from time to time, we would get calls from clients and they say, Mason City where? And one of those little clients was a company called DuPont. And at the time, they placed the largest order we had ever had. It was a nice order. But they didn't want it on the 5 1/4 inch floppies. They wanted it on the new 3 1/2 inch, which we had to go out and buy equipment just to fulfill the order. So after John and Bill split, we moved back totally to Mason City. And Bill heard that the Iowa Lottery was giving out loans to small businesses, and we wanted to expand, so he applied. We later heard, we were declined, and they were told us, and this is where we hear Bill's famous line, we were told to pursue other avenues. And Bill said, so we did. Interstate 35 South and 40 West. But what you don't know is that I suggested that he goes to San Diego and Phoenix. San Diego, we knew I knew. My mom used to live in Arizona as well, so I've been to Phoenix many times. I had just taken a vacation there and really loved it. So he flew to both cities. He met with the Chamber of Commerce of both cities. I said, you can pick whichever city you want, and he picked Scottsdale. And I think it's been the best business move we ever made because we could tell, as soon as we got here, we are instantly getting more respect from clients, and they didn't immediately assume you were a small business. TTI has had some great people work for it throughout the years. And one of those persons joined us in 1988 after the move to Scottsdale, and he's still with us today. Now, he was in college and when he joined us, and we just had him doing, duplicate discs, just stuff around the office. And while he says he's never made a resume, he has made a resume, but he's never submitted one. I see a trend here, right? College resume. He has definitely helped us grow the business, and that person is Rick Bowers. I have seen Rick grow over the years, and actually, this thought just came to me. Indirectly, I actually helped change the course of TTI because he was actually in computer science at ASU at the time, and I used to help him do his homework. He would get A's on his homework. The tests, not so much. So he changed degrees to marketing, and now we have benefited all from that over these years. He's helping to grow the brand. He's helped with the international business. So a little bit indirect there. After Rick, shortly after that, Bud Bowers joined us. And what Bud brought to the company was a consistency in our marketing. Bill would be here and there, but Bud consistently did, and it just helped us grow year after year after year. And I think Bud also helped to the feeling of the big family in our network. So, Rick and I both joined TTI when we were in college. We both haven't made or submitted a resume. Both got to work with our fathers. And, we're both from Iowa. The key word being from, right? So what about the present? Since Rick and I have been here a long time, we've seen a lot of people come and go, but we both recently came to the same conclusion. The staff at TTI is the best staff we have ever had all at one time. So after the big shock in June, I wanted to meet with everybody in the company, find out what they did. I know, believe it or not, I don't come out of my office very often, and I thought, let's do 4-on-1s. And what I meant by that is we'll have the leadership. Ron, Rick, Adam, and myself would meet with everybody one at a time for 30 minutes. And everybody's kind of, not sure what's gonna happen from this. But as the word spread, and they all took over an hour, I think that was the start of the next stage of our company, because we were finding out a little bit more about everyone, their strengths, their potential, and I think we did it in a way that opened up, and we have a lot more engagement in the company, and it was nice to know that when a big, huge event happens, we didn't step backwards, we stepped forward. How about a little bit about me? So, I like to make decisions knowing the pros and the cons. And if you actually come to me and have thought of the cons and make a convincing argument, I can be persuaded. I like to say, I like to get it right over being right. So I don't have to be the one that comes up with the idea. I just want to get it right. And I'm open to feedback from you guys too. We're in a transition. Our company, I think, is engaged and doing well, but feedback from you will be critical to the success of all of us. So feel welcome. I also like to make decisions with input from people. And so I didn't like to have meetings, but I started asking for meetings. So those meetings brought on more meetings. I couldn't believe that when we were in one meeting, I would actually call for another meeting. But I can honestly say I've been in more meetings in the last 6 months than the last 5 years combined. But they've been very, very beneficial. You know, I'm not searching for podiums or stages. I don't want to really be the voice of TTI, but I want to be the glue. I want to build a good team. I want to find the right people, put the right people in their position, give them the resources, and get out of their way and let them flourish. I understand that we will make some mistakes, but let's learn from them quickly. What about the future? Well, we did the staff survey. We did a survey to you. We have done one big off-site strategy meeting with the leadership. We have future department strategies planned after the conference. From the level of the engagement of the company, I know great things are going to come. Now, in a strange way, this does involve the future. And I've heard from some murmurs in the network. The question is, will he sell? I'm not selling, I'm investing. But before I get to how I'm investing, let me give you a quick story. So over the years, I've heard Bill come to me and he'd say, hey, these people want to talk about buying the company. You know, a lot of them are not really serious. But one day, I'm now getting these calls. And one day I get a call from a former VAA. I've known this VAA for years, so I know I can take him at his word. But he says he has a friend, and a friend with very deep pockets. And he says he's looking for a company to buy. But after that conversation, I went to Ann, and I said, no more calls. I'm not selling. I have things I want to do. I have visions I want to chase. And so how am I investing? Well, I'm investing in new staff. We've hired a new marketing director. She's already hired. She's here. She's awesome. Some of you have already met her. So I can't wait for you to hear from her, find out more about where she's going to take us. I've invested in a new video studio. We took the old warehouse in the middle of TTI and built a green screen. It's one of the best green screens you probably will see. It's actually so secure that one of the workers was up 14 feet and fell off a ladder and hit one of the bottom panels of the curve, and it only put a hole where his knee went. I was told that if there had been a normal green screen, it would have taken out that panel and probably a couple others. We also have a sound room in there so we can do audio recordings. My plan is for us to take that, create more leading-edge training and support materials to help our clients understand our products, how to apply them. We're going to take it to the next level. And that studio is not just for us. I mean, if you guys are planning on doing a video series and the studios are costing a lot, come talk to me. I can get you a good rate. You sell our stuff, so I'm not interested in making money off of there. I'm interested in the after effect of our stuff. I'm going to invest in more research and deeper research. You know, with Ron, what he's doing with the brain stuff, I believe there's a key there that we can take what we're learning there and actually improve our assessments. I mean, they're good now, but I believe we can even make them better. And then nobody can touch us. We've actually hired some new staff. There's a research scientist already on staff. We're working with one statistician that'll be a consultant to us. You'll hear more about that later. I know we're good, but I know the big corporations are asking for more, and so we're going to do more validity, more predictive studies, and get you a nice broad range of studies. I'm also investing in hiring back a former TTI staff member, but not just any staff member. This person used to be a VAA in the 90s. He then left and started his own company to create a survey engine on the internet, just when the internet was picking up steam. We would keep in touch. He would call every so often, I would call him every so often, just kind of keep, what we were doing. One day I told him we were thinking of putting our assessment on the internet, but just to score it. And he goes, you need to think bigger. You need to think about how we administer. He'd been in your shoes. So how can we make it easier to administrate the reports? And that person is Rodney Cox. We started mocking up and over net meeting, I think it was a 14.4 or 19.2 baud modem, designing the screens. We mocked up IDS. His name is on the patent. What Rodney will also bring to us is the ability to take our API that hooks up to IDS and integrate it with other platforms, create new platforms so that we can even multiply our effects even more, take more of the labor out as well. He currently still does run Ministry Insights, and he'll be doing that halftime for us. But we're really excited to have him on. He's a disk expert. He works with it every day. He's written books. He trains on it. So he'll be a great addition to our product development teams. So you've heard of some game changers that we've had. We computerized the report, put copy protection on, design IDS. So I think with Rodney here and taking the API, we can work with those larger corporations and really multiply our effects even more. I'm committed to really building a great team as well. I want to get a lot of our staff members out into the field to see what you do, to help, participate. I want them to walk in your shoes a little bit so that they better understand what you're doing and we can support you better. I know in the GVP meeting we just had with some of our top people, some great ideas came out of there and the willingness to share. So we'll definitely be strengthening our bench. So in the spirit of investing in our business, we are going to strengthen our brand and become a worldwide force to be reckoned with. We're strengthening our marketing bench to help us create a understandable and memorable brand. But here's the thing, we don't have to do or be anything different. The best brands are authentic and dedicated to their core values. We have integrity and core values in spades. So despite the changes over the past year, marketplace, passing a bill, the global climate, our integrity and core values have not changed. My intent in building this brand is to secure our future and success forever. And I mean forever. Bill gave us a strong legacy to all benefit from. My intent is to see that legacy lives on. So here we go. The best is yet to come. Thank you.